Slides will be up against the wall. I'm Dr. Jacobson. I think most of you know me. I'm going to blow your minds with what I'm going to say here. This is going to be hopefully new, but it may not be. Some of you I know are very into your health and up to date on things. But this is a paradigm shift for me that was introduced to me by our wonderful dietitian. She's new and she's downstairs. She's the expert on this, and I'm just kind of getting to learn this. And hopefully this will ring true, or you might learn something. Before we get started, everyone pull out a little book in your bag. It's a blue book. And I know we have some expert dieters here already. This is kind of going to be a guide of what I'm going to teach, and I just wanted to draw attention to this because this will play a key role in this. Before we get started, by raise of hands, who's dieted in here? What was the goal of your diet?
To wear skinny jeans.
Lose weight to look good, right? Well, if you go to a doctor, and I know I'm guilty of this, that's what I would talk to with my patients. I would say, all right, you want to lose weight. You're overweight or you're obese. Let's talk about goals to lose weight. That was the outcome that we wanted, right? Either a reduced BMI, or to look better, or basically we thought that was the goal, was to lose weight. And this is still something that when we go to our doctor's appointments or we're talking to a health professional, a lot of the focus is on reducing BMI and reducing weight, because that's healthy, right? Is losing weight healthy? Can be, but I'm just going to say no, it's not. All right? And we'll talk about why I think it's not necessarily healthy. Health outcomes from the same old diet and exercise. This is what you would hear from your doctors. The majority, this is the real outcome though, this is what really happens. The majority of people do not lose weight long term. Rather, most end up weight cycling. So that weight cycling is where you lose weight for a time and then you gain it back, which is actually more unhealthy than just staying at your keeping your weight stable. This is another one. How many of us become food and body preoccupied or just obsessed with what we can't eat when we're on a diet? Or we obsess about our weight and our scale, and we become frustrated or the way we look. And we're constantly putting ourselves down. We're constantly, and it's almost always a failure. And if our goal is health, putting ourselves down constantly is not a healthy practice. Okay? Reduced self-esteem, eating disorders, and distraction from other health goals. Those are the reasons I would say if we're focused on weight loss, it's probably not a healthy thing. There's a new movement in the health industry that is health at every size. This is what Amy, the dietitian, provided me with, a study about promoting this new concept that we're going to look at the outcomes of health and not weight loss. So this is the paradigm shift that I want to drive home today, is that we're taking the goal away from weight loss and onto health promotion. So we're going to focus on how you can be healthy at every size and at every weight. Weight loss may be a side effect of that, but it's not going to be the main goal. This is an interesting slide. We know that there's a lot of health risks associated with being overweight. What is it about being overweight that is unhealthy? But if you look at kind of some of these factors, like this slide says, being overweight alone isn't as unhealthy as you might think. So there have been a lot of studies on this, and when you take out someone's fitness level, like say someone who has the same fitness level, but one weighs 50 pounds more than the other, and you take, they might have the same activity, level of activity. Level of activity is different from exercise. Activity is how much you do in a day. Exercise is how long you get your heart rate up. That's how I kind of like to simplify things. If your heart rate's up and it's really beating, that's considered exercise. Being active is just how many steps you take in a day, for example. If you control for exercise, if you control for activity, If you control for nutrient intake, what foods are nutrients? What food has our nutrients, Maddox?
Nutrients?
What's our nutrient foods?
Would it be
Vegetables and fruits. Yes, vegetables, those are our nutrients. So if you control for that, how much good food you're eating, if you take away weight cycling, that weight loss, weight gain, weight loss, weight gain, and socioeconomic status, believe it or not, that factors into it. Overweight people and people who are not overweight have the same health outcomes. They live the same they're the same duration, and they have very similar diseases throughout their life. So if we can control those things or focus on maybe those things, maybe we don't have to lose weight like we once thought we did. Maybe we need to focus more on being active and exercising. And maybe we need to focus more on our nutrient-dense foods, things like that. That's kind of the concept of health at every size. So that's the paradigm shift. I kind of broke it down into 3 steps of how we can have health at every size. There's a lot online. There's books about this, so you can find a lot more information. We'll just kind of go through some of the key points, okay? Shame and guilt is not a motivator. We try to shame and guilt ourselves into losing weight. It's not helpful. And if it were helpful, we would all be skinny, right? So start accepting your current body shape. So the focus is health. We cannot be healthy if we are not accepting who we are, period. So the step number 1 is accepting where we're at right now, and that could be whatever body shape that you have right now, okay? That's step number 1 in health at every size. Number 2, support intuitive eating. This is what I love. I love this about health and being a doctor. It's holistic. You cannot have a healthy body without an unhealthy mind. And I love intuitive eating. It's tuning into yourself. It's turning inward about what you're putting into your body and what you're exposing your body to. How does this work? We'll follow the slides here. I guess it's questioning, how does the food make you feel? So this is what I like about this diet book log. Write down what you eat in a day, and then write down how you feel after. How do you feel in the short term, and how do you feel in the long term? How is your energy level? Okay? How is your mood? This is a key. Paying attention to your body when it's hungry. Hungry cues. Are you not getting enough food? Paying attention to your satiety cues. Are you full? Is it time to stop eating? This means you take your time to chew your food. You taste your food. You take breaks while you're eating in between to see, am I full? Am I good? Making sure you're not getting over full. All right, how easy are your bowel movements? And are you emotionally eating? Recognizing that you have anxiety, and that might be something that you're doing to yourself to treat your anxiety is eating. There's so much online about this, but I want everyone, if there's a couple points, this would be one of them, to start paying attention to how your food makes you feel. Okay? And then, thirdly, let's focus on behaviors. You cannot will yourself to be healthy. You cannot will yourself to be happy. You cannot will yourself to change your mood, but you can will yourself to change behaviors. So health at every size is a behavioral focus, not outcome focus. So this means increasing your activity, like how many steps you take in a day, and measure it. I know there's a lot of different ways that you can do that. Increase your endurance, that's exercise, starting a regular exercise program. And again, I put up there that exercise is not considered activity. Eat nutrient-dense foods. This is probably more expensive. That might be why people with lower socioeconomic status have worse health. So you might have to budget, and you might have to kind of put some money aside to get better foods, okay? And don't neglect your emotional health. Spend time to not worry about your weight. Spend more time meditating, practicing mindfulness, doing whatever it is that helps you be more emotionally healthy. All right. This is something, if you already have a disease, why don't you tailor your diet? Because this is health focused, right? So tailor your diet towards your disease. If you have high blood pressure, you cut back on salt. If you have high cholesterol, you can listen to Anya's talk, cut back on saturated fats and other things, and eat more healthy fats and oils. I can't read that, but it says diabetes, cut back on foods with a high glycemic index. Now I'm going to tell you, you don't have to cut back on sugar. You don't even have to cut back on cake. Health at every size. The goal isn't to, so see, paying attention to your cues, what are you craving? And it might be that you're craving carbohydrates. But maybe if you have diabetes, cut back on the carbohydrates that have a high glycemic index or that turn into sugar right away. Those are your white flours, your white rices. Have something that's more of a whole grain, that's a carbohydrate that your body's craving, that your body needs, but make it so it doesn't spike your blood sugars up to cause the harm. This is kind of the thought process of health at every size. If you have cancer or you have a family history of cancer and you want to prevent that, or that's a concern for you overall, staying away from processed meats can help. This is just another example of stopping caffeine if you're an anxious person. Okay? Nutrition.gov has a lot of good information about how to treat disease with food. Where to learn more? Tons online, guys. And I cannot put a big enough plug in for our dietitian. Amy Henneke, she's downstairs. She's studied this for 2 years now, and she's read books about it. She's a pro. And she's changed the way that I'm going to start treating the whole picture. Weight loss is not ever going to be the goal for my patients. It will be overall just well-being, okay? And she's great. We have a little bit of time left, and I'm done with my slides. So I wanted to this is something I just printed off online. 10 steps to intuitive eating. Number 1 is reject the diet mentality. Throw out your diet books and magazine articles that offer you false hope of losing weight quickly, easily, and permanently. Get angry about the lies that have led you to feel as if you were a failure every time a new diet stopped working and you gained all the way back. If you allow even one small hope to linger that a new and better diet might be lurking around the corner, it will prevent you from being free to discover intuitive eating. Did I miss the music? We're still good? Okay, number 2, honor your hunger. Keep your body biologically fed with adequate energy and carbohydrates. Otherwise, you can trigger a primal drive to overeat. And you've probably experienced this. I have when I've cut back on my carbohydrates. Once you reach the moment of excessive hunger, all intentions of moderate conscious eating are fleeting and irrelevant. Learning to honor this first biological signal sets the stage for rebuilding trust with yourself and food. Number 3, make peace with your food. Call a truce, stop the food fight, give yourself unconditional permission to eat. If you tell yourself that you can't or shouldn't have a particular food, it can lead to intense feelings of deprivation to build into uncontrollable cravings and often binging. Number 4, challenge the food police. Scream a loud no to the thoughts inside your head that declare you're good for eating less calories and bad because you ate a piece of chocolate cake. The food police monitor the unreasonable rules that dieting has created. The police station is housed deep in your psyche, and it's a loudspeaker that shouts negative barbs, hopeless phrases, and guilt-provoking indictments. Chasing the food police away is a critical step to return to intuitive eating. Respect your fullness. Listen to your body. This is number 5. Listen to your body signals that tell you you are no longer hungry. Observe the signs that show that you're comfortably full. Pause in the middle of a meal and ask yourself how does food taste and what your current level of fullness is. Number 6, discover the satisfaction factor. The Japanese have the wisdom to promote pleasure as one of their goals of healthy living. In our fury to be thin and healthy, we often overlook one of these most basic gifts of existence, the pleasure and satisfaction that can be found in the eating experience. When you eat what you really want in an environment that is inviting and conducive, the pleasure you derive will be a powerful force in helping you feel satisfied and content. By providing you this experience for yourself, you will find it takes much less food to decide that you've had enough. Number 7, honor your feelings without using food. Find ways to comfort, nurture, distract, resolve your issues without using foods. This is something that I'm an expert on. I self-proclaimed expert. It's this dealing with our addictions. Food is a sense of an addiction. We're just trying to escape our current state. Being able to, our anxiety, loneliness, boredom, anger are emotions that we all experience throughout life. Each has its own trigger and each has its own appeasement. Food won't fix any of these feelings. It may comfort for the short term, distract from the pain, or even numb you into a food hangover. But food will never solve the problem. If anything, eating emotional hunger will only make you feel worse in the long run. You ultimately have to deal with the source of the emotion as well as the discomfort of eating. Number 8, respect your body. We talked about that enough. Number 9, exercise. We talked about that enough. Number 10 is honor your health. Make that the goal. Lastly, to wrap it up, use this food journal. And what I want you to do is record your foods that you eat and how it makes you feel. That's it. And I want you to tailor your diets to your well-being. Okay? How are you feeling inside, and with health and the goal is health. And then there's also a spot for exercise. So that goes without being said. If our goal is to be healthy, I want you to pay attention to what you're eating and get exercise. Okay? Any questions, quick?